Manor Lords, is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Manor Lords is a medieval strategy game featuring in-depth city building, large-scale tactical battles, and complex economic and social simulations. Rule your lands as a medieval lord. The seasons pass, the weather changes, and cities rise and fall. First up, guys, let's have a look at the graphics. Well, the game looks fantastic. It looks gorgeous. I mean, it doesn't matter what season is on the screen, it just looks gorgeous. It's hard to believe that this is built by one man. It took him 7 years. And it's only in early access. There's still tons of content to come, which I'll come to in a second. But it's in early access. Well, it will be when it comes out in 2 days' time. A few of the things he obviously outsourced or got help with, but primarily this was one man, 7 years. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You can twiddle and tweak a few options to get the graphics, to get the game running better on your machine. It ran fine for me on my 2080 i9 in 1080p with everything turned quite high. But you can twiddle and tweak stuff if you do have problems running it. I had a few frame drops, which can cause the mouse, the screen to just kind of fly off at a rather strange angle every now and then. It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it is quite annoying. The game itself is a city builder. That's what it is. It's not Total War. It looks like Total War when you're in a battle, which I'll come to later on in this review. But primarily this is a city builder, and it's a bloody good one as well. A very good city builder. And considering this is early access, I mean, it's not even anywhere near finished when you look at all the content missing. And it's just amazing how well it plays as a city builder. You've got this map. There's only one map so far, but obviously there's going to be more maps as the game gets released. It's not a map. Well, it is quite a big map. It's divided up into provinces, and you start by you're given a province depending on how you set the game up. You can set the game up to be as easy or as brutal as you want. This is just basic balanced middle default setting that I'm playing it on. So it's worth having a good look and tweaking your game to suit. Now the lands, the different zones on the map are all different fertility. So you have to look at that for your crop farming. You have to look at what you have to kind of have a game plan early on. Are you going to be depending on farming, or are you going to just be an industrial kind of city and just import stuff, food and stuff like that? Are you going to be an exporter of food? I think they're the two big things you ask yourself at the beginning. And, you know, you can easily quickly start the game till you get the right land that you want. I started this game that I'm playing now on absolutely horrible land. I couldn't grow a damn thing except weeds. So I just made a bit of an industry, sold a lot of stuff, and I imported the food that I needed, and I exported weapons. So you can play. It's very versatile. You can play any way you want, really. Any area of land that you get is going to be good enough to survive on, because you can trade and import. And the trading is really good in this game. You set up a trade hub. You select the item that you want to trade, and you can trade everything in this game. Every good in this game is tradable. If you're exporting, you just select how many you want to retain. So if you're trading berries, just select how many berries you want to keep at your place. And then whatever's left, all the excess will get traded away. So it's really, really versatile and excellent, the trading system. And there's perks to make trading cheaper and get yourself better prices, like I say, depending on the kind of game you want to play. And this is the beauty of it. You can play this so many different ways. The city building aspect is fantastic in this. It really is. And you see everything built like the early Settlers games. Nothing just appears. And all the people run around doing the proper jobs. You know, if you don't have anybody in the granary or the storehouse, then don't expect stuff to be picked up and put in there, because they're just not going to happen, because there's nobody to do it. And if you have an expanding city and you don't have enough people in there, then it'll still not get done, because things will start to queue up. Every person you put in represents a family. So you're not just putting one person in there, you're putting a whole family in there. And that whole family will work from their granary. If you put 2 families in, you'll get obviously double the amount of carrying around and transferring of goods. And that goes for every single building in the game, which makes it very, very easy to prioritize where you want the work setting and where you want people to work. The farming's all based around crop rotation, so if you build 3 or 4 fields, which I highly recommend, not huge fields, but just a few fields, you can switch between wheat, barley, flax, whatever you want really. all the different crops that you can grow, and you can let them just fallow for a season to get all the vitamins back in and minerals back into the soil, so you get a better yield the following year, and just set it up into a nice rotation. Then you'll need your windmills, and then you'll need your ovens to make your bread, or you'll use brewers to make ale out of the barley. Or if you're growing flax, then you obviously want to be getting all that through to the tailor and getting linen and making clothes and things like that. So everything's just so good in this game. Everything has depth in the city building aspect of this game. Now, there is a few bugs in the city building aspect. Not a lot, to be honest with you, but there is a few bugs that I have come across. One of the big bugs that I found is your home guard, the retinue or whatever you call them. Now, you make them by putting down a special garrison tower in your manor building, where your manor lord lives yourself. And you're only supposed to be able to put one down, but you can put, in this build that I'm playing, you can put a few down. So I tried it to see what would happen, and once I saw that I could pretty much put as many down as I want, I stopped doing it, obviously, because that would just ruin the game. But yeah, you can put a few towers down and get more home guard, like knights, if you like, the top troops. But the game isn't meant to you're not meant to have that many, so you have to be careful. You'll break the game. But that's another bug that just needs fixing in this game. Also, speaking of bugs like that, pathfinding bugs on the same units trying to get out of your manor is a problem. Many a time they'll get stuck and trapped, and it is quite annoying. I've had a couple of people not building when they should have as well, but that's pretty much it. Not really a lot of bugs there. Now, when you've started to expand your city and it's doing pretty well, you've got a good bit of industry going, you've got the money coming in, you've been attacked by a few bandits, and you've seen them off and you've wrecked their camp, which gives you both income and influence. Now, the influence is essential, because just to take a neutral area requires 1,000 influence. To take an area owned by one of the other manor lords, the AI, it costs 2,000. So you need to get attacked regularly off the bandits in order to get that. Obviously, as you expand your villages into towns and then into cities, you will get influence by doing that as well. So there's a lot of things that you have to do. I've currently got 4 cities. Well, I've got 2 pretty big places on the map. I've got Wabsville, Dingsville, Bantherville is coming along. Maxville's just small at the moment. But I'm expanding them all. Got different industries going at each one. Now, here's my first big gripe of the game. You can trade between them, but unfortunately, you have to barter. In other words, I had one set up at one of my towns. I think it was Dingsville, set up as a farming place, and Wabsville is a military place. I have tons of weapons, and I wanted to send weapons from Wabsville to Dingsville. The names. And I couldn't do it because Dingsville didn't have anything any good to send back to trade for the weapons. And it's like, well, hang on, I'm the Lord of the Manor. I own all of these places. I know the different cities and so forth, and have to, fend for themselves. But we're all on the same side. We all go to war together. And I couldn't build an army at Dingsville because I couldn't trade the weapon. I just couldn't send the weapons there. In Settlers, for example, Settlers 3, you could just send stuff around the map wherever you wanted on the pack ponies. Now, on this, like say you have to barter, I don't think that's a good one. I really don't think that's a good idea. I'd much prefer to just say, right, you need 20 shields, 20 swords, there you go. Send them off from one village to another. Or you need flour at that one, okay, there's 100 flour sending from here to here. Just so you're trading between the settlements, but you can't do that in the way I would have liked it. So that's my big gripe of the game, to be honest with you. As for the combat, it's great. You've got a lot of different orders you can give your troops. You can tell them to hold the line. You can tell them to advance. You can tell them to prepare for arrows, so they'll hold the shields up. And moving them is just very, very easy. And moving them around the map, they will get tired if you're charging them around the map. So keeping them walking is the order of the day, really. And you have some pretty big battles. This particular battle here, it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. The AI is bugged a little bit at the beginning of the battle. They kind of don't know what to do. If you cover your flanks and have archers going, they'll just kind of sit there doing a little dance. And I didn't know what was going to happen with that. I didn't want to leave it, so I just charged into them. I wanted them to come to me because I was outnumbered, but they just stood the ground, dancing, so we charged into them, and I lost a lot of men, but we won the day, and that was the final battle of the game, which won that particular scenario. It's like everything, it needs work, but it is early access, and I can't wait for this to be finished because there is so much going to be in this game. We have loads of areas in this game that I've seen that it just says not in early access, not ready in early access. There's a whole tier system for your troops, and I don't understand whether that's going to be experience or whether it's going to be weapons and armor, or what is it going to be. We don't know, but there's a lot of good stuff. I can't wait till you get more bigger maps with lords on the maps, because at the minute they're not present on the maps, they're off map, so you don't actually have cities to attack. I'm hoping you will in the final version 1 when it comes out. But above all, guys, I would love to see PvP or co-op. Co-op would be fab in this on bigger maps with a few AI. It would be just, guys, this is one of the greatest games ever made. It just is, like I said in that video. It's got everything pretty much right. There's a couple of things that I've mentioned that, you know, are niggly things, but generally speaking, it has a brilliant template for a fantastic game. And even as it is now in early access, it's still a great game. It's still good fun. I mean, I've done 50 hours and it feels like I've done 5. It's time has flown by playing this. Really, really good. Can't wait for it to release. It is definitely worth a buy.